Atlanta News First starts now.
Right now at noon, getting you help being rerouted. Ambulance drivers now have one less hospital to count on as Atlanta Medical Center gets ready to shut its doors for good.
And highs in the upper 70s later on this afternoon, and 80s are in your forecast. I'll break it down for you coming up.
Smoke filling the morning air when a popular Buckhead sports bar goes up in flames. We're live as crews battle to put out that fire. Good afternoon. Thanks for being here. I'm Rob Hughes.
Good afternoon. I'm Gurvir. Dhindsa, right now, hospitals in metro Atlanta are feeling the squeeze. As of just a few hours ago, ambulances stopped taking patients to Atlanta Medical Center, sending them to other nearby hospitals instead.
Our Rebekka Schramm joins us live. Rebekka, this comes almost a month before the hospital will close its doors for good.
Yeah, that's right, Robin. Gurvir. Wellstar requested that ambulance diversion because they're already packing up this hospital ahead of the November 1st closing. I'm also learning it's affecting the doctors' offices across the street, and it's certainly affecting other nearby hospitals. The emergency room at Emory University Hospital Midtown is a busy place right now. Same for Piedmont Hospital in Buckhead and Grady Memorial in downtown Atlanta. That's because as of 7 o'clock this morning, ambulances started bypassing Atlanta Medical Center, taking patients to other nearby hospitals instead. Wellstar released a statement about its request for ambulance diversion, saying we will still accept patients via EMS if needed through October 14th at 7 a.m., but request that they choose other providers first when possible. This will allow us to ensure we have the capacity, staffing, and capability to treat all those coming to AMC for care for the duration of their care leading up to the hospital's closure. A source inside the hospital tells me they've already moved Atlanta Medical Center patients out who will need care for longer than a few days. Then there are patients like Tarsha Carroll. She regularly sees a Wellstar doctor at his office across the street from Atlanta Medical Center. She says her doctor and his staff don't want to relocate, but they have no choice, which is creating a depressing mood in the office, she says.
They kind of like everybody quiet. It's kind of like a hush hush. Nobody's really saying too much anything.
Johnny McGowan sees a doctor here for his back pain.
I've been coming here for about a year and a half now, and I'm kind of confused about where I'm going to go because I live in Swanee and that's a long drive already.
Now, when he went inside, he found out that his doctor might be sticking around for a while, although they wouldn't tell him exactly how long. By the way, my source inside the hospital tells me there are so few patients in that building right now that many Atlanta Medical Center employees are now working from home. They're only coming in when they're called in. Live in Atlanta, Rebekka Schramm, Atlanta News First.
Wow, these changes are happening quickly. Rebekka, thank you for that update. A Lawrenceville family ripped apart by yet another senseless act of gun violence. At this hour, we're learning the name of a teen found dead on a basketball court. Gwinnett County Police identifying the teen as 17-year-old Timothy Buchanan. Shooting happened Sunday afternoon in a subdivision on Meredith Court. Investigators are working to interview possible witnesses, including kids who may have seen what happened. No arrests have been made at this time.
It's just a few minutes after 12 now. One less place to watch your favorite sports team. Take a look at this, just this massive plume of smoke that appeared over Buckhead earlier today. Actually, you could see it from miles away. This is as a result of a fire that broke out at the Buckhead Saloon, the sports bar, really going up in flames. Atlanta News First's Bridget Spencer has been at that scene on Roswell Road all morning for us, and Bridget, firefighters still working to put that fire out at this hour, at least the hot spots.
Exactly, that is what they said. They just have a couple of hot spots, but for the most part, it is now under control. You can kind of see a bit of some of the smoke still coming off of those hot spots right now, but they do have it under control for the most part. We are learning, luckily, in this situation, nobody was hurt. They have been fighting this fire since about 8 o'clock this morning, and they do anticipate staying out here even longer. Buckhead Saloon, a staple in the Buckhead entertainment scene, goes up in flames Monday morning. Eric Williams saw it happen on his way to work.
All of a sudden I heard something say boom.
The saloon, which is located right next door to a fire station, was crawling with firefighters shortly after the fire broke out.
Our firefighters called the fire in. They were on the second floor of the fire station.
Atlanta Fire Rescue says the fire started in the back of the building. However, nobody was hurt.
Noticed there was a smoke from miles away.
Diego Robledo arrived to work next door just minutes after the fire started. He says he considers himself lucky.
It was an act of God because I always park between Buckhead and Piece of Cake.
Firefighters say once they knock out all hot spots, then they will begin their investigation phase. And it's also important to note there were some people that had to evacuate out of the building directly next door to Buckhead Saloon, just as a safety precaution to make sure that they were not harmed. Now, again, the investigation is only just beginning. Once they figure out if all the fire is gone, that's when they're going to start combing through everything to make sure that they can find out what exactly caused this fire. Reporting in Buckhead, Bridget Spencer, Atlanta News First.
Yeah, that's good information, Bridget. I had wondered about that because there was certainly a building really tall next door and it was completely engulfed in smoke as well. So thank you for that. I want to turn to a live look outside at noon, and certainly you could see that plume of smoke from far away because of how clear it is outside today. First Alert meteorologist Rodney Harris here with your forecast. Rodney?
Yeah, Rob, Gurvir, we're in pretty good shape here weather-wise throughout the course of the afternoon, with temperatures warming into the 70s after a pretty chilly start right now. As we check out temperatures across metro Atlanta, we are at 70 even in the city of Atlanta. Marietta, you're at 66 degrees. Good afternoon to you in Cobb County. Lawrenceville, 68. Athens over at UGA, your current temperature is 70. Let's take you hour by hour and plan the rest of your day. You're picking up the kids from school at 3 o'clock, 75 degrees and mostly sunny skies. You're coming home from work later on today at 5. It's still mostly sunny and 76 degrees. And if you're going to head out for dinner tonight, 71 degrees at 7 o'clock. So mostly sunny not only today, but for much of the week. And enjoy the warming temperatures. We're back into the 80s as we head toward Thursday. And you'll hopefully enjoy those 80s because by Saturday, a lot of us will drop into the 40s. I'll break down your 7-day coming up with more First Alert weather a little bit later. Gurvir.
All right, Rodney, we'll see you in a few minutes. Disturbing threats lead to the arrest of a University of Georgia student. New this noon, we're getting a first look at that student now facing some pretty serious consequences. Police arrested freshman student Stuart Harris. He's accused of making terroristic threats on the controversial social media app Yik Yak. The app came under major scrutiny and was actually shut down after a series of threats involving other college campuses, but the company relaunched the app last year. The University of Georgia tells Atlanta News First that Harris has been removed from campus pending a disciplinary review.
Well, the countdown is on to Georgia's midterm elections. Polls open in less than 36 days, and some key races are at stake, including the seat for governor. We here at Atlanta News First want to make sure you have the tools you need to make an informed vote this November. And as we near the big day right now, elections offices are cramming to get enough poll workers to start operating in a few weeks when early voting opens.
That's right. Atlanta News First reporter Madeline Montgomery reports from the state capitol with what you need to know to cast your ballot.
We have two nationally talked about races happening right here in Georgia. First, round 2 for Governor Brian Kemp and Stacey Abrams for the governor's chair. There's also the big race between Senator Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker. And if you want to be a part of this election process, you have a limited amount of time to get registered to vote. You have to be registered here in Georgia by October 11th, so that's next Tuesday. Early voting starts in 2 weeks on October 17th. You have to request for an absentee ballot by October 28th. And that ballot has to be turned into the elections office by the evening of November 8th, which is, of course, Elections Day. Meanwhile, election officials in Fulton and Gwinnett counties are working to ensure polling places are well staffed ahead of early voting. Gwinnett hiring events start tomorrow at the Five Forks Library in Lawrenceville. Wednesday, there will be a hiring event at the Centerville Library in Snellville, and then another hiring event will be Saturday at the Swanee Library. The goal is to hire 2,500 people. If you are interested in being a poll worker, we have the times of those events as well as the addresses for them on our Atlanta News First app. Madeline Montgomery, Atlanta News First.
Well, we're here to help you figure out which candidates align with your beliefs and your goals.
From the biggest races that the entire country is watching to the races that affect your neighborhood. You can head over to atlantanewsfirst.com/politics, and there you're going to find articles about every race in North Georgia with the information you need and the context you want.
And make sure to download the free Atlanta News First app where you can keep up with how your candidates are doing come election night.
Still ahead this noon, it's been days since Hurricane Ian demolished entire communities. But the pain of losing everything is still fresh for a lot of families in Florida as the cleanup now gets underway. We'll let you know how many plan to get their lives back together.
Plus, if you're struggling with sleep, well, you're not alone. And how you're feeling before bed could be making it worse.
Atlanta News First puts you first, and we're not just focused on the city of Atlanta, we're invested in communities across the metro area, and that includes you, our viewers in Duluth and Gwinnett County. So in today's Community Spotlight, we're highlighting the historic Southeastern Railway Museum in Duluth. Take a look. We'll be right back on Atlanta News First.
This midday, miles and miles of destruction along Florida's coast following Hurricane Ian's landfall last week. The death toll continues to rise, now up to 82. It could go higher as the search for survivors really continues. And right now, more than 600,000 people remain without power, and there's more flooding in some parts of the state as well.
President Biden is planning to tour the damage in the state on Wednesday. Chris Hoffman has more from Fort Myers.
As cleanup efforts continue in Fort Myers, Florida, residents are still coming to terms with the massive damage that Hurricane Ian inflicted.
Kitchen's got to come out, the bathrooms are all got to come out. It's a complete redo.
I was just devastated seeing what was happening to the property. It was hard to comprehend.
Before and after satellite images show the scope of the destruction.
From here on out, we're just going to exist.
I feel like we're existing, but we're really not living. Our life is right there.
Hundreds of thousands of people are still without power.
Rest assured, they are working hard to get those lights back on.
Fuel and water remain in short supply. State officials are now defending the timing of evacuation orders in the Fort Myers area that some say didn't come soon enough.
It was a situation where those folks at the local level, as that storm started to shift, then they took that data and then they acted appropriately.
The destruction is still everywhere in Fort Myers Beach, Florida, from boats landing on buildings to other structures just left as rubble.
I fell off the roof over there, and one guy almost cut his thumb off, but everybody made it through. Everybody made it through okay.
Sean Shelton rode out the storm on a shrimp boat, which is now in a pile of debris with other boats on Fort Myers Beach.
Where do you even begin to pick up the peak after this? Where do you even start?
I don't know. We're having a meeting. We're going to try to figure out what we're all going to do.
In some parts of Florida, the danger from flooding isn't over.
I can't get out, and I prayed. That's all I know how to do is pray.
Homes are flooded in Deltona, in the central part of Florida, and there's a voluntary evacuation in St. Cloud as water levels continue to rise. Chris Hoffman, CBS News, Fort Myers, Florida.
You know, when situations like this happen, so many people step up, and you are certainly doing that. We've seen it firsthand. A lot of organizations are collecting donations, getting them down to Florida as quickly as they possibly can. One of those organizations is called Caring for Others, and it's got a group of volunteers working nonstop since the hurricane slammed into Florida. The group is planning to leave Wednesday. If you'd like to donate, you can get all the information you want on our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. And you know, that hurricane made landfall, made another landfall, moved up the East Coast. And Rodney, it's still having an impact up and down the East Coast.
It is indeed unbelievable. Now, of course, Ian is no more, but the low pressure that was associated with that as it moved out into the Atlantic, the circulation is still producing some showers, especially in the northeastern portions of the country. So if you have any travel plans up there, just know that they are still getting rain from what was Ian. A little bit closer to home, we're in much better shape here in Metro Atlanta. Here's a live look at Cobb County, Truist Park. Congrats to the Braves on the big win last night. The Braves are in Miami for the next 3 days, for the next 3 games. At Truist Park, we're looking mostly sunny, pretty decent shot there. Here's a live look over the city of Atlanta, showing a few clouds, but nothing that's going to slow you down on this Monday afternoon. 70 degrees is your current temperature right now in the city of Atlanta. Across the rest of the region, we're at 66 in Marietta, so you're warming up a little bit. 67 in Canton over in Cherokee County, 68 in Lawrenceville, 66 degrees in Snellville, and Lithonia over in DeKalb County, you're currently at 66. 76 degrees. So here's your forecast through the rest of the afternoon. We'll see mostly sunny skies, a mix of sun and clouds. At 2 o'clock at 74, you're picking up the kids. At 3, 75 degrees. By 4 o'clock, we're warming up yet again, 76, and you kind of get the idea. Really no rain whatsoever, a lot of sunshine as you're coming home from work later on today, 76, and 71 is your temperature at 7 o'clock. I will say that after 7 o'clock, we'll finally see those temperatures drop below 70 and back into the 60s. So here is the setup here this week. We have an upper level high that's actually built in behind what was Ian. It's a weaker high. It's not the typical summer highs that we see, but it's strong enough to A, keep us dry for the rest of the week, and B, allow those temperatures to warm up just a little bit. So you'll notice our high temperatures eventually getting back into the 80s. Not today, though. 77 and mostly sunny today. When you get out the door on Tuesday morning, it will be chilly again. 52 inside of 285. So in the suburbs, we're talking the upper 40s, low 50s. So you want to grab that jacket again on Tuesday morning. 78 Tuesday afternoon, 79 on Wednesday, and there's that 82 degrees on Thursday. It was a week ago. That was the last time it got to 80 degrees in the city of Atlanta. So we'll be back into the 80s on Thursday, 82 degrees on Friday as well. Friday, we have a dry cold front that will move through. It's dry because we won't see any rain, but you'll definitely notice the drop in temperatures because we go from 82 Friday afternoon to 50 in Atlanta on Saturday morning. So if you are going to be out and about on Saturday morning, it will be cold. 50 in Atlanta means that everybody else in the suburbs will definitely be in the 40s. 72 though for Saturday afternoon with mostly sunny skies, 50 on Sunday and 73 for Sunday afternoon. Rob, is 50 cold enough for you? It's going to feel nice this weekend, really nice the entire week.
Listen, I like a good chill in the morning, so bring it on, especially when it warms up into the 70s and 80s. I have absolutely no complaints.
I think it's perfect.
That is perfect weather. And you know what those 50s are, Rodney, and those 40s? That is good sleeping weather.
It is indeed.
Isn't it good sleeping weather? But here's the deal. Some of you are not getting a good night's sleep.
Are you talking to me?
Oh, Rob, it could be that you're stressed out, could be a whole lot more. So stick around because we're going to show you how you can leave those worries behind and focus on your bedtime.
I think it's a couple little people in my house. That's what I think it is.
Little ankle biters.
Yep, here's what's coming up tonight in prime time. You can catch today's big breaking news, headlines, and Atlanta's most accurate forecast.
Tonight's primetime lineup is brought to you by Beaver Toyota Coming. We're here to wow ya.
All right, we've all been there. You're tucked in bed, ready to go to sleep, but your brain just won't shut off. Or maybe if you're like me, your toddler walks in and pokes you awake. Hey, Daddy, wake up. If you're struggling to fall asleep, though, Elise Preston has what you can do to help you get some much-needed sleep.
Gina Fiorino is a busy, full-time working mom. The 44-year-old says it is not easy to get sleep.
I spend a lot of time trying to wind down. My brain does not slow down as fast as I probably would like it to.
Nearly 1 in 5 Americans report struggling to fall asleep at night, according to a new survey from the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. Dr. Anissa Das says from the pandemic to politics, people have more stress and worry.
We've noticed a 29% increase over the past several years in insomnia referrals to our clinic.
Stress can increase heart rate, blood pressure, and make muscles tense. Dr. Das says relaxation therapy can help manage stress as we're falling asleep.
One form is progressive muscle relaxation, where you progressively go through your body to relax your muscles. Another one is guided imagery, where you really focus on a story or a scene, and it helps you to focus on something other than all the things that we're stressing about.
Bad habits can also impact sleep. Nearly half of Americans are on phones before bed. More than a third fall asleep with the TV on.
We want bright light in the morning, which helps amplify our circadian drive, and then we want to decrease the amount of light we get in the evening.
Gina says being able to spend more time with friends and doing activities is helping her stress.
I'm able to talk through some things that are happening in the world and the community. So I'm hoping that combined with just trying to get on a better fall asleep time schedule will help settle things out for me.
She also tries to set aside her phone when it's bedtime. Elise Preston, CBS News.
All right, so hopefully you got you some sleep here earlier this morning. I tell you what, I hope you're awake this afternoon. You want to be outdoors as long as possible because this is great weather. No rain at all over the next 7 days. It'll stay cool in the mornings with lows generally in the 50s, but the 70s here for the first part of the week. For highs, we're up to 80 by Thursday, 82 degrees for Thursday and Friday. But then it gets cold again over the weekend with the 40s likely in the suburbs both Saturday and Sunday mornings.
Well, you know what? We are glad you decided to spend just a little bit of time with us at noon.
I was going to say, if we kept Rodney on screen, maybe he'd do his disco dance for the 70s.
And if you are not out and about this afternoon, tune in because we will see you right back here at 3.
Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
You're a mess, Rodney.
We need it. Yeah.